what is up? Today, there's a Hilti DSH700 that does not start. Of course, they never start. But, unlike the other ones, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to do a carb cleaning. The person told me literally nothing, except he just turned it on for a quick second and said it doesn't want to run. So I want to look at the fuel, and then we'll go from there. Let's see how bad this is going to work. These are not light. I don't know how much you saw, but at least you can see the after. I didn't spill nearly as much as I thought I would too. Needless to say, that's pretty bad. The fuel line though doesn't look horrible. Oops. Well, I'm gonna fish that out and put it back in, but I think I'm just gonna try putting some new fuel and see what happens. Put a little fuel in there. Now these guzzle gas. Have you ever heard that the concrete industry is causing a whole lot of pollution? Well, I'm pretty sure this is probably the reason why. It's these machines right here. You thought your chainsaw used a lot. Oh. Compression release. Maybe half choke. Full choke. Throttle. Goes off. Let's look at that plug. I don't know if you can tell, that's definitely wet. So we have a flooding problem. I'm gonna try to take out as much as possible, throw or pull it over with nothing on there, no choke, and then take an air compressor and I kind of blow it out. I also want to check the gap on this. It's pretty much new. Oh well, let's do it all together. The plug itself wasn't even in there. It's very tight. So whoever installed it last probably did it on a Friday at 4:59 before Memorial Day. I say that because 3-day weekend, of course. Try choke again. too deep in that carb. Let's check for spark. I don't know if you're going to see this, but yeah, there's spark. Okay, it's carb. You know what? Let's put a little gas down the cylinder hole. Okay, choke is off. I'm going to hold down the throttle. Good sign. So I took the filter out and it doesn't really look all that bad. I want to shoot some fuel down the intake. Sometimes these don't like having fuel go directly into the cylinder. Let me explain why this is concerning. To take off the front, to then take off the muffler, it's not the easiest of tasks, but the muffler is the easiest way to tell if you have a problem. Do I have to take off this whole piece? Or you just take off the boot. Haha, smarter, not harder. It's going to have to be taken off anyway. And just think about the environment these things run in. Especially if you don't use water, which I know almost for a fact this person does not. Mainly because they don't really have the option to all the time. Now we're just pulling up on the throttle. That's okay. I'll just give it a little extra throttle. So I'm gonna put some fuel down there. We'll look at the plug one more time, and then we'll try it one more time. Okay, let's give this a shot. And here is 2-cycle fuel. This used to be 2-cycle fuel in here. There we go. Should be on. Plug's not connected though. That helps a lot. Man. The more and more I think about it, I think this might be trashed, but I don't know. Went and I found some legit starting fluid. I re-gapped the plug. Let's try this. It says top end safe, so there is oil in here. It's not a lot. This should be at least good for testing. And if it does start running, it will pull fuel from the tank. Let me just, okay, now What's happening now is the boot is pulling on the throttle. Let me put that back on and try it again. Put the covers on, we're going to try to tune it a little bit. Want the good or bad news? The bad news is I can't adjust this as a non-adjustable carb. Well, it is, but they have tamper-proof on it and you get to take the carb off. So I want to at least put the filter on to see if that's going to help us. Found out why it turned off. I took the cover. Definitely a few problems. So let us start this. I think I found the reason why it was running high, because when I put it back it was like that. But I spoke to the owner. I said, hey, it's got it running, but is there anything you specifically want me to do to it? And he explicitly said to clean and or replace the carburetor. So I explicitly am going to do that. Now, I asked him, do you want me to clean it? Do you want me to order a new one? Or do you want me to, like, what exactly is wanted here? And he said, if I can order a new one, that's perfect. Okay. So I asked him, I can find a brand new one, OEM, for $138. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, or I can get a cheaper one. It's knockoff, but it should still work, for $14. Well, let's just say I got the $14 one. So that makes my job a whole lot easier. These fuel lines, actually not too horrible. It's kind of odd to me why you would pay, or you want to pay, for a new carburetor instead of me cleaning it, which, okay, that's fine. People have things about, you know, when you hear words like rebuilt, you generally think that, you know, maybe the person didn't do it right. Not that I'm thinking he thinks that of myself, but I personally have had those thoughts because of not the most qualified of technicians working on a few items. So maybe that's the reason why he just doesn't want to take the chance. I mean, even myself, I will make a mistake. I'll tighten something, but then when I go to retighten it, maybe my phone rings and I forget the last one, and it leaks a little bit. Mistakes happen. Mistakes also happen in manufacturing. So here we are. So I got a new carb, a new air filter. The plug is brand new, so I'm not going to worry about that. Don't want to rip this. That's just going to come out all in one piece, isn't it? We're going to need to take that choke lever off. Not with that screwdriver, though. Maybe not all the way off. Very good. This is now twistable. Come on, get off there. Maybe not. There we go. Just has too much crap on it. Choke lever off. This is going to be pushed off to the side. This goes down here, so we're going to want to remove the other one. There we go. Yeah, those fuel lines aren't horrible. I mean, they look horrible, but they're not bad. I'm still going to replace them, but they're not horrible. Next, we're probably going to want to take off the boot. Let's boot. Move this clip out of the way. So that can be. Now, it's hard to see another one, but look how many places the throttle can connect to. So we're going to want to put a high amount of attention on which one it is. We also have new gaskets, so we're not too worried about, oh, there we go, ripping this one or the one behind it. Okay, now with any luck, it should just come right out. Oh wait, no, it's still connected right here. That's a long enough line. Which one are we on? We are on get a flashlight. The flashlight says we are on the third one, I believe. Does it have the same number? Okay, it does. It's on the second one from the top. That sprayed me pretty good. Okay, so now we have to remember this one goes there. The easy way of doing that is this. Put it on now. Okay. Excuse me. This is the main fuel line. That one's actually really spongy, nice. I'm not too worried about it. The return line, though, is kind of nasty. I'm going to replace that. Let me see if I have another primer bulb. Might have gotten lucky. Yep. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna get some more line. Sorry about the garage. I actually saw someone outside. Just gonna lubricate. Okay. I'm gonna probably put the small one in first. Something to kind of take note of. This does not have a idle screw at all. So the one that came with it did, so I had to take it off. Also, there was a little bit of junk in there. I blew it out. You do not want any of this nonsense in there. It's not going to be an easy or good conversation to explain why you decide to ruin a machine like this for a simple little error. So now we know that fits on there. There we go. And then we need to pull this out. There we go. And now apologize, you can't see much. Just a little hard to show and do at the same time for all of it. That's a little long. We have to shorten it. So where I live, I get very little, or not a very good selection of internet. Apparently, I'm getting Comcast, so a whole bunch of locate people are here, locating, spraying. Trust me, I mean, I'm not against the idea of that. Just it would have been kind of nice if they didn't necessarily have to spray directly into my freshly mowed grass. You know, Now I'm kind of contemplating if I should just mow again. But then does that make it so they have to come again? I don't know. I mean, I would hope not. It might be a tad on the tight end, but as long as it's okay, we're just going to cut it a little bit more. Basically, I'm just making it really thin. For a good section of it. And then I'm going to put it back in here. And then, let's see if I can see it. Probably helps with the lights on. Wow, that sucked. Okay, let's try this. Right now, we're just seeing if it leaks. Yeah, it does. Okay, seemed to stop leaking. It's tight. Should be fine now. Reason why I was really worrisome on that is because you don't want any leaking whatsoever. And we might just leave it because the pressure in the tank is actually needed. We don't have pressure in the tank, well, nothing good happens from there. Go. It's on the bottom too. It is, okay. Can't see. There we go. So now this line goes there. Kind of like the idea of the throttle being underneath it, which is unfortunate because let's see what happens. This should be fine. Okay. So now let's pump it up again, see if we hear any hissing or see any fuel. I don't. Okay. We should be set. So now we have new lines, new primer bulb. Fuel seems to be good. So I've explained this before, but this one's pretty much the same thing as the others. The primer bulb does not push fuel to the carburetor. It pulls fuel from the carburetor. So you never want to put this directly to the tank for the actual fuel delivery. you want to pull the fuel through it. No, that's not going to work. It will work somewhat, but not so much. It'll run for a short amount of time and then die. You'll be wondering why. The entire time it's because you're just on the wrong way. So the fuel from the tank and the filter goes to the carburetor. Then there might be a pump of some type, which this one has, which is should be this. It could be the other one. And then the outlet for the fuel. The outlet then goes in the in of the primer bulb, and then the primer bulb out then goes to the tank, and then it just recycles. We have this crusty choke lever to put back on, which is a whole lot easier. Well, not with those lines right there, we're not. You know, I just jinxed myself. I was like, wow, that was easy. Why was it so hard to take it off? Can't see a thing. How does this choke lever turn? It does go that way. I'm gonna mess with this. I'm just gonna put everything back, move the clip over. In fact, I probably need to do that now, and then put the cover back on, and we'll give it a shot. So, when looking at the old carb, I would notice it was a little clean, and then when I tried to pull the trigger, I found this lodged in between the new carb and the old carb. So I took it out, put it back together. Should be set now. I also rerouted the throttle cable, so it's probably the way it should have been to begin with. Choke. That's on. No choke. Let's turn that idle down. So I discovered this spring. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a return spring for the throttle. It's kind of picking up and getting caught on the actual throttle linkage. So now, last time when it just kind of ran away, it just kind of ran away. Now it's nice and fluid. Just gonna give it a pull, see what happens. If it does run correctly, then I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, and then I'll bring it back and we'll tune it. On. Let's try no choke. Well, I just want to apologize right now for the noise. I guess I should have warned you, these are usually pretty loud. I didn't think it was going to take nearly this long, but it did. It still needs a little bit more. But yeah, looks like we're all set. So, if you have a Hilti and it's not running and you have the same problem as I did, hopefully this helped out. These carbs, you can just rebuild them. Don't get me wrong, but he just asked for a new one. It's just a standard carb kit. I mean, it's a little hard, but I think it's a Zama. But yeah, that should be about it. If you like what you see, definitely subscribe, put a thumbs up. Catch you in the next video. Have a good night. Actually, I kind of want to explain the tuning. So I put the idle pretty high, and then I kind of tuned in the idle jet. That takes a little bit because you want it to be rich enough where it doesn't fall down when you give it too much, or when you give it fuel. But at the same time, at the same time, you don't want it to be so rich that it is bogging down just in idle. So it's a fine medium. So then you rev it up, and then you richen until it gets a little boggy, and then you go until it really screams, and you richen it just a little bit, and then you work on the idle again. So that's pretty much it. Okay, now it's really. See you next time. Have a good night.